Facebook at the same time. And hopefully I am being I'm being Facebook Lived in multiple places because we just got done turning on YouTube, etc. So excited to be here today. For those of you who are new, my name is Rhonda Britton. I'm the founder of the Fearless Living Institute. But more importantly, I'm a woman who has, well, just like you, in your own ways, we've all gone through difficult times. And for many of us in this moment of the global pandemic, it might feel like a difficult time. And for many people that I've been talking to, they are feeling grateful that they can slow down. They're seeing opportunities in their business that they wouldn't have otherwise seen. I like to think of it as a restart for all of us, right? It's time to restart, release, and renew. And that's actually the name of the class that I'm going to be teaching tomorrow, right in the Fearless You Facebook group, Fearless You Facebook group at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll be teaching a class called Reset, Release, and Renew, Finding Peace Amidst the Calm. So we are going to be talking about that. And today, as I've been sharing with you multiple days, I'd like to give you a tip and tool or something to focus you about on the day to help you move through this time. And one of the things I started a couple days ago was to help you understand how you operate when fear's in control. So how do you operate when fear is in control? And I'm realizing I don't have my light on, so let me just turn it on and see if that helps. Does that help at all? Maybe a little bit. So how do we operate when life is going the way we want? Oh gosh, just a minute, I'm about to choke something. Thank you. So how do we manage and move through a difficult time, something that basically sideswiped our life, right? And what we were supposed to do, what we were going to do is no longer happening, or maybe it's happening in a different way or with different people, but there's some change going on, whether that's you see it as good, whether you see it as bad, whether you're indifferent, something is changing. And when change happens, it's normal to have fear. And fear, most people don't even know they have fear, right? They would never say I'm afraid or I'm scared. But right now, hopefully you're getting more aware of the things that you're quote unquote afraid of, right? I think most of us can admit that many people are afraid of their financial situation or afraid of getting sick or afraid for their family members getting sick. And there are other fears underneath that. And so today I am going to give you the third part of what I call the Wheel of Fear. And I created the Wheel of Fear because, you know, when I was going through my horrific life, parents, murder, suicide, DUIs, suicide attempts, etc. You know, no matter what I tried to do with my life, and no matter how much I tried to make it better, I still felt there was something wrong with me. And when I discovered the Wheel of Fear, my life made sense. My filter changed. I saw the world differently and I saw myself differently. And everything changed because of it. Because as neuroscience says, the only way to truly change your life is to change your filtering system. So I created the Wheel of Fear for me, and hopefully I know that it works for you if you're working it. I know that to be true. And the Wheel of Fear, I'm going to explain to you the different parts of it. And so the last 2 Facebook Lives, I've shared fear responses and I've shared self-destructive behaviors. Okay, so I've shared fear responses and self-destructive behaviors. And now I want to share another component of the Wheel of Fear. Now, just to back up a little bit and talk about the Wheel of Fear. The Wheel of Fear is how you respond when you are triggered. Now, I know many of you may think you know how you respond, right? I get impatient, I want to eat a donut, right? And that's true. Those are all true things. But there's more going on. And before I understood the Wheel of Fear, I would just look at my behavior, like eating a donut or, you know, beating myself up or whatever it was. And I would think that that was my problem. And if I could just change that, if I had more discipline, if I had more willpower, if I had more awareness, if I had something, then I wouldn't do that. But really, there's something deeper going on. And that's what we want to talk about, the Wheel of Fear and what's really going on inside of you. Those are just what I just described as, you know, procrastination or eating the donut or anything. Those are just fear responses, right? They're just things that you do when you're triggered. And we actually want to understand the whole process. I know I do. I want to understand the whole process, because what I discovered is when I knew how the wheel of fear worked, I knew how I worked. And when I knew how I worked, then I could change and shift, and I could move on to what we call the wheel of freedom. And the wheel of freedom is where I have more power, more permission, more love, more peace, more me. And on the wheel of fear, I'm compromising, sacrificing, anxious, etc. And I wanted to know, when I wanted to identify myself before I did fear responses, I wanted to identify what was really going on with me before the fear responses, so I could not do the fear responses and not make it about willpower, because it's not about willpower. Willpower is nice, but it lasts about 12 seconds. We actually want to have a deeper understanding, so it naturally happens, and we naturally start moving from fear to freedom. So like I said, the last couple of days, fear responses are the things that you do, things that you blame yourself for, the things you think are your problems, right? The things that we think, I wish I wasn't a people pleaser, I wish I didn't procrastinate. Those are fear responses. Those are things you do when you're triggered, okay? We also talked yesterday about self-destructive behaviors. So self-destructive behaviors are things you do when you've given up, when you feel hopeless, when you feel helpless, when life, like, what's the point, right? We all get to that place once in a while, right? What's that point? And, instead of eating, a pint of ice cream, we eat a gallon. Instead of, isolating ourselves for a day, we don't eat or don't take a shower for a week, right? This is where I was an alcoholic. This is my suicide attempts, my self-destructive behavior. And again, your self-destructive behavior. You know that. You know what your fear responses are. You know what your self-destructive behaviors are. So that's the good news. I just want you to put them in a framework so that you can learn from them and grow from them and move beyond them, rather than just a tool to beat yourself up, right? So we've got fear responses on top. We've got self-destructive on the bottom. The wheel goes this way. And like I said, there's 4 components. And today we're going to focus on component number 3. Our core negative feeling. Our core negative feeling. Now, this is number 3, right? This is 2. This is 4. We'll do 1 tomorrow, but number 3 right now, I want to talk about the core negative feeling. And you also know what your feeling is. The thing you don't know is this, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But you know your fear responses. Again, you may not be able to name them as such because you think they're your problems, and you're like, fear responses, what? I'm not afraid. It's like, maybe not. I think I'm right, but who knows? So core negative feeling is the feeling that you do not want to feel, okay? The core negative feeling is the feeling you do not want to feel. I mean, who wants to feel worthless? Not so much. Who wants to feel hopeless? Not so much, right? Who wants to feel unlovable? Nobody wants to feel that, right? So feelings, I always say that, the feeling that you're afraid to feel is running your life. Rhonda Britton, right? The feeling that you're afraid to feel is running your life. And that feeling that you're afraid to feel is our core negative feeling. It's the feeling that you want to run from, hide from, deny, avoid, ignore, pretend isn't going to happen. And then, of course, you do end up feeling it, because we've all felt our core negative feelings. We've all felt it. And when you feel the core negative feeling, I know for me, I'll speak for myself, how it feels for me is it justifies every bad thing I think about myself. And it justifies why my life isn't working out. And it justifies why I can't do A, B, and C. So your core negative feeling, the reason you don't want to feel it is it feels like that is the truth of who you are. And if you succumb to it, if you admit it, if you feel it and are aware of it, it feels like it will engulf you. It feels like it will engulf you. So the core negative feeling, and everybody has one, everybody has fear responses, everybody has a core negative feeling, everybody has self-destructive. And the core negative feeling is that feeling that you want to run from. So think about just how you felt the last few weeks while we've been moving through this global pandemic. What feeling do you not want to feel? Some of us can't avoid that feeling, right? Because it's in our face, our hopelessness, our helplessness, our giving up, our feeling of loser, our feeling of worthless, our feeling of unlovable, our feeling like we don't matter. So this is actually our proof that we aren't good enough. That's what we tell ourselves, right? Like, oh, I'm worthless. See, I'm not good enough. I'm worthless, therefore I can't have that. I'm worthless, therefore I can't try that. So the core negative feeling justifies our fear responses and justifies our self-destructive behaviors. And in fact, it's why it works so effectively. The wheel of fear was created by what I say, the neurobiology, our brain, our neurobiology, in order to keep us safe. And anything novel, anything new, any new idea, any new action, any new feeling, any new behavior, any new relationship, any new situation like we're in today, all of that is naturally going to trigger us because the brain and body, who we are, we've never lived through this before, therefore we don't know what to do, right? We don't have a foundation of experience with this. We have no experience with this. And then the people who have experience with it aren't being necessarily really helpful. So it feels like we're in it alone, right? It feels like we're alone inside this. Or it could feel like some of you, hopefully you have friends, family supportive. Maybe you're listening to somebody that's really smart, a doctor, a scientist, etc. And so you may not feel so alone. And hopefully right now you're not feeling alone because you and I are together. And it's natural and normal when we are trying something new, thinking a new thought, to have our core negative feeling in our face. And like I said, nobody wants to feel their core negative feeling. It feels too real, too hard, too true. And it takes away our right to have our dream. It takes away our right to write that book. It takes away our right to quit our job and start a business. It takes away our right. It makes us feel small, stuck, the same. We can't take that risk. We can't do that dream. We can't become who we are meant to be. It's just too dangerous. So the feeling that you are afraid to feel is that core negative feeling. And, you know, we make decisions based on feelings, not by thought, even though I know you think it is thought. As they say, feelings make our decisions for us. Thoughts validate them, right? So our feelings decide whether we're going to reach out or not. Our feelings decide whether we're going to take that job or not. Our feelings decide whether we're going to write that book or not, right? Now we want to say it's other things, but in fact, it's how we feel about ourselves and how we like those feelings based on, you know, what is right and what is wrong. What can I do and what can't I do? So feelings are critically important for us to honor, but also not believe that all of those feelings are true, right? Which we can talk about as we move through our work together. So core negative feeling. I'm just gonna tell you my core negative feeling. My core negative feeling, because again, you have this, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. You have a core negative feeling you want to avoid. You definitely have self-destructive behaviors, and you definitely have fear responses. And my core negative feeling, the feeling that I don't want to feel above all other feelings, is worthless. And when I feel worthless, well, I start telling myself the stories of my past to prove that they're right? Well, I didn't save my mother. I didn't stop my father. My father murdered my mother and I didn't stop him. My father committed suicide. I didn't stop him. I was the only one there, didn't do it. Oh, practically failed out of college. I think it took me 7 years to graduate instead of 4. I failed semester after semester. I became an alcoholic. I mean, I have lots of reasons and lots of things I've done in the past that prove when I'm in a state of worthlessness, when I'm believing the core negative feeling, I can prove to myself that I am worthless. I can prove to myself that I should not be giving you a Facebook Live right now, that I have no right to talk to you right now. I have no right to tell you what the Wheel of Fear is and the Wheel of Freedom is. Because when I'm on my Wheel of Fear, it takes away all my rights to grow, to change, to become different, to try. Because the Wheel of Fear, again, wants you to stay the same because that's the only way it can guarantee your safety. So my core negative feeling is worthless. That's the feeling I, Rhonda Britten, when I'm in fear, am trying to avoid. If I'm in freedom, I can feel that feeling and be okay, I'm still safe. But when I'm driven by fear, and again, we're going to get to that, this is the most important thing tomorrow. When I'm on my Wheel of Fear and I'm feeling worthless, I want to go suck my thumb, right? I want to give up. I want to self-destruct. I don't have a right to my dreams. I don't have a right to talk to you. I don't have a right to coach. I don't have a right to speak. I don't have a right to write. And again, when I'm on my wheel of freedom, I'm okay with the word worthless. I'm okay with feeling worthless. It's okay to feel that way because I know what to do instead. So today, I just wanted to really talk to you about feelings and remind you that the feeling that you're afraid to feel is running your life, and it's not true. And I know it feels true. I so know it feels true. I felt true for me for 20 years. It felt really real. And again, remember, I had really good proof to prove why I should feel that way, because that's what fear does. It gathers proof. That's how our brain works. It gathers proof for your opinions, beliefs, etc., your judgments. So I had plenty of proof that absolutely proved that I was in fact worthless, which is what gave me permission to self-destruct, right? That's on my wheel of fear. But on the wheel of freedom, worthless is just a feeling. It's not true. I don't act on it. It moves through me. I can let it bypass me because, again, I know what to do instead. So I just want you to pay attention to the feelings that you're pushing down, the feelings that you're ignoring, the feelings that you don't want to feel. Because as we start building out your wheel of fear and wheel of freedom, that's going to become really important awareness. So what feelings do you want to deny? What feelings do you not want to feel no matter what? What feelings are not okay with you? What feelings can you not tolerate from others? So a lot of people can't tolerate victims or lazy or stupid or, right? Like they just can't tolerate people like that. They just can't tolerate, right? They're so lazy. They're so stupid. They're so, right? And again, we're going to talk about all that tomorrow more. But I just want for you today, to really focus on what feeling is super scary for you to even think about feeling. Because to feel that means that you've given in, means that you've surrendered, means that something's wrong, means that everyone's been right about you, i.e. that you're broken, unfixable, something's damaged, right? That you're worthless. Now, I know that I'm not worthless, and I know you're not worthless. That gives me the right, again, to speak to you right now. But I know in our dark days, and I know when we're triggered in fear, that this feeling feels real. So I want to honor you and let you know that you're not crazy. It does feel real. You're right. It does feel real, but it's not real. If you're not sure what I mean by that, then I invite you to go back a few days to Facebook Lives and actually see the conversation about paradox. Because paradox is going to be really important for you to understand and to embrace while we move from the wheel of fear to the wheel of freedom. Because when you can feel worthless and still be in freedom, that's self-mastery, right? That's transcendence. So that's where we're going. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to go where we want to go, do what we want to do, meet who we want to meet. That's right for our lives, not what other people tell us, but what works for us. So again, your homework has been to keep track of your fear responses. So yes, I want you to keep track of all the things that you do when life isn't working for you. All the things you think are your problems, all the things you think are wrong with you. Self-destructive is when you've given up, when it's like, screw this, F it, right? How do you self-destruct? You know how you self-destruct. I don't have to tell you, you know that. And then core negative. What is that feeling that you do not want to feel? Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about the thing that is the most important on the wheel, which is that. And I'm going to break that down for you. So day by day, piece by piece, hopefully you're getting to know yourself a little bit better. And hopefully getting yourself to know a little bit better takes away the shame, the humiliation, the embarrassment, the need to be perfect, the need to suck it up, and puts that all away in a pretty box and allows you to become more of who you're meant to be. Because this is, I know it worked for me, and I know it's worked for hundreds of thousands of people. And I know if you actually practice this, it'll work for you, because you're not your worst fears. You are not your worst fears. I promise you that. So fear responses, self-destructive, core negative feelings, right? Core negative feelings. And then tomorrow we'll get to the trigger. It's really important that you understand how you work and what is operating behind your behaviors, your thoughts, your feelings, et cetera, right? Like this is what's going on in the background. And the more that you can identify what's going on in the background, the more you can like put it to a halt and say, no, thank you, and stop it and shift to the wheel of freedom. So this is happening whether you're aware of it or not. If you ever feel crazy, or if you ever feel lost or confused, it's because you're not understanding how this works. And so this is taking over your life in those moments. And it's like, what the heck is going on with me? That's going on with you. And the more that you can identify it, the more that you can see it, the more you can move past it. And that's what I want for you. So I'm very grateful today to connect with you. I cannot wait to talk to you tomorrow about that most important piece of the Wheel of Fear. And then, like I've said, I'll share the Wheel of Freedom with you. And hopefully bit by bit, you're getting to know yourself a little bit more and shaming yourself a little bit less, beating yourself up a little bit less, knowing that it is not your fault. You are not to blame. You are not damaged. You are absolutely amazingly wonderful exactly as you are. And you just don't know it because you've been believing fear. So hopefully, as you get to know yourself better and better and better, you're going to start seeing yourself through my eyes instead of yours. Okay? So with that, I say have an amazing day wherever you are, whatever country you're in, whatever city you're in. Stay safe and stay healthy. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And we're going to finish off the Wheel of Fear. Until the next time, be fearless. Thank you. Be fearless. Thank you. Be fearless.